usually I don't do this. I usually come out, get to where I'm going, and then as I'm going I get shots of like all the things that I'm seeing. But I'm not there yet. I'm still going down. We're not to the feet part yet. We're still driving the truck. So right here to my right, there's a small orchard. There's a couple apple trees here, and a couple further down the hill here. And so when I came around, there's a small kind of knoll right here. So when I came up over the hill, there were 3 deer here in the bottom of these apple trees. I tried to get video of them, but they were gone before I could get a shot on them. The thing is when it's real, because it's pretty breezy out here. You probably hear it. Usually when it's breezy like this, you don't see a lot of wildlife. They're real skittish, and you know it's been raining as well. So anyway, I get up to the spot and I try to get a shot on them. I can't get. Well, I'll show you these apple trees in a minute. They're loaded with apples. I don't know if they're good. We'll find out here in a minute. But so I come up and I get out of the truck and I look over here to the left as I'm getting out of the truck, and there's a turkey going across the opening here at the edge of the woods. And it's way back in the brush. I only got to look at it for a second, but it was a pretty big turkey. So I mean, you really have no idea what you're going to see out here. It's perfect. These trees covered in apples. They're all over the ground. I tell you, with the wind blowing like this, it's pretty chilly. On the way in here, there's a bunch of wild grapes. The grapes up here, they're pretty hit or miss. Some years they'll be loaded, and then other years there won't be any at all. I haven't seen the grapes loaded like they are this year in several years, but they're definitely loaded this year. So there's all kinds. I mean, there's all kinds of fruits. We're past season for the raspberries and the blackberries, but fall's for the apples. Like to look around at the house no matter what I'm coming up here to do, just to check things out. Standing back here in the middle of the orchard behind the house, there's what, six apple trees back here. And I talk about this every time I'm up here, but they don't really produce a whole lot. I just think they haven't been taken care of, and because of that they don't do very well. That's why this winter we're going to try to get up here and get some of this some of this stuff taken care of. Maybe this spring they'll do better. There's a couple apples here and there. There's some on the ground, but I mean, other than that, they're real small. They're like golf ball size, and they're not very many. These apples on this tree are red, kind of like the ones that we saw earlier. But these over here are more like a golden delicious. This tree doesn't have anything. This tree doesn't have anything. And when you look at the green, the only green is on the tops of the trees. Everything else out here is all dead. So we're gonna come out here and clear these trees out, give them a better chance for next year. It's cold out here. Let's go inside.
This afternoon, mostly cloudy with scattered showers. Patchy fog. Highs in the upper 60s. Temperatures falling into the upper 50s late. West winds 15 to 20 miles an hour with gusts up to 35 miles an hour. Chance of rain 50%. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated showers until midnight, then mostly clear after midnight. Lows in the mid-40s. West winds 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts up to 35 miles an hour. Chance of rain 20%.
I like to keep this light on, but I don't want to run the battery down, considering this is not my light. I thought I would come inside since it's so windy and so noisy and colder than I thought it would be. I thought I'd go ahead and come inside and have lunch in the house. It's about 2:30, 3 o'clock. With it being overcast and rainy and kind of late in the afternoon, it's dark in here. I have a decision to make now. Do I stay here, where I know things are going to be fine, where I know I'll be warm, or do I go around the hill and set up my tent and stay in that for the night? That's the question. Okay, so I made my decision. Going to go ahead and head on around the hill. I'm also checking out the apple trees that are here below the house. Some of them have apples on them. Obviously, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so there's no cell phone service at the house, and that's one of the major reasons why I left. Another reason is if it gets too cold, which it wouldn't. It's not going to get too cold. It's not going to get, I don't know. It's definitely not going to get down to freezing. And I'm layered up enough to be comfortable. Not to mention the sleeping bag and the wool blanket. But if I start a fire, it would have to be enough to heat the whole house. So I'd have to burn enough wood to heat the whole house. Whereas, if I'm in a tent, I only have to heat up the tent, which takes less effort. If you're in a one-person tent, you can heat it with a candle. I mean, you can also possibly die from carbon monoxide poisoning, but at least you'll be warm, right? So I'm going to continue out around the hill and find a spot to set up my tent. Okay, I don't know what I just saw. It was definitely a big cat or a big dog, but I didn't get a good enough look at it. There's a break in the clouds, though there's a lot still, there's a whole other system moving through here. So I'm going to attempt to set up my tent while I have a chance. Hopefully it won't take me too long to set it up. I don't know if this will be my permanent spot. I might move back towards the woods that way because I'm sitting out in the open. But if it's ridiculously windy, I certainly don't want to be underneath a bunch of trees. Something breaks and falls. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of in this little kind of divot here in this hill, so that my hope was that if it stayed windy, it would just kind of go over top instead of just like hitting the tent and just ripping it off my truck. Unless you're on this side, on the camera side of me, you can't really see the truck or the tent unless you pretty much walk up on it. Unless you get within about 10 yards of the truck, you're not going to see it. So that's great because, you know, earlier when I was setting the tent up and I was flying the drone, I heard a single gunshot back in that direction. I mean, I would never see whoever that was. They would never come this way. But if they did, they wouldn't see the truck until they walked right up on it. I keep seeing deer above my camp. But by the time I get my camera out, they're gone. Like I said, stuff walks right up onto you before you know it's there with the spot that I picked. This is sort of what I'm looking for right here. Like I said, I need just enough to heat my tent and make breakfast in the morning. Some silky saw made quick work of that. Oh, that's all so awesome. You know, I mentioned the predator earlier. This spot up here on this mountain is the common place where we see coyotes and bear. Not that you can't run into them anywhere else, because you can. But for some reason, this is where we see them. Man, this has been a pain to get together. I just heard the coyotes. Packing them out this way. Actually, not too far away. I have my lantern going now. That should get some heat going. Let this little lantern heat up the tent, and I might start a fire in my little biolight. So we'll check check it out and see. At least now I have light in here. And I can see what I'm doing. Eating this teriyaki chicken and rice. It's a little chilly. I'm not a humongous fan of these Wise food meals. They're not the greatest flavor. Very breezy, very cold. My guess is it's still in the 40s. It is every single bit of 40 degrees. It's cold, real cold. I don't have a jacket, so I can't be sitting around outside. Not with it being this cold and with the wind blowing like it is. So we're going to forego breakfast.